thank you for taking your time out of your day to do this interview with me. It really means a lot. So, you're the Assistant Director of Office at the Chief Medical Examiner of the City of New York, and also you lecture at Rutgers University for their criminal justice program. So, I think it's hard to imagine being able to manage being mayor with also your other responsibilities, and you've certainly had your share of challenges. So I'd like to discuss how you've, handled and solved all those challenges that you faced during your time.
Well, thank you. Thank you for picking such a beautiful spot to hold this interview. Here we are at Lake Solitude. We've got the Columbia Trail. We've got the Great Gorge. This is one of the most historic and beautiful places in New Jersey. Right here in our own town of Highbridge.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start here. There's a lot of new people who've come to Highbridge, and so how would you explain to them about the taxes and how you've kind of kept them from rising?
That's very challenging in any town in the state of New Jersey. And here in Highbridge, we're very unique. Almost half of our town is open space. So over the decades before I became mayor, the town bought up a lot of this property and used state money, used Green Acres money. So we live in a park, and most everyone's property backs up to some sort of open space, trails, lakes. We have 8 historic buildings that we own here that we can get out and explore. So this decreases the amount of revenue that we can bring in to help pay for to running the borough. And we're very efficient here. We've managed to reduce the budget. We hold every taxpayer dollar sacred. We pay taxes as well. We're doing the best and being efficient when we spend them. But the idea is to increase the revenue. We've had properties in the past and we have properties today that are privately owned that need to be redeveloped. So we've seen our Main Street. We've turned our Main Street around. Our Main Street is the most successful Main Street in New Jersey. Most Main Streets are 40% empty on Highbridge. We're completely full. And we have developers, private investors that want to come to Highbridge and take down the old buildings that are no longer useful and build something new. Build something new that fits our town and also increases that tax revenue. So we have more money now, so the rest of us, we can lower our taxes. And that's what we've been able to do this year. We've started to see that 10-year plan that we put in place. We're starting to see that success of that.
What have you done to get information out to Highbridge residents about, what goes into their borough? Because I think that's really important.
It's very important to me to make sure, and my philosophy is you should see what your government is doing. And for the first time under my administration, we release executive session documents. So when we have these private meetings with our town officials, the rest of the borough gets to know, the residents get to know what we've been talking about. So we've done that. I'm very hands-on when we have issues like our Exact Level and Tool property, a privately owned piece of property. As you come into town, we have redevelopment. We're going to turn that into something nice, but I would like the residents' input. What would you like to see there? What fits a small town? So we've gotten out and going door to door. We've done surveys. We've asked residents for their opinion. And little things like having coffee once a month. We open up Borough Hall. I bring coffee, I bring donuts. We sit down. Residents come in with questions. We talk about the different projects that are going on in town. I think that's been a great addition to getting that information out.
The golf course is a big topic for many citizens of Highbridge. So can you tell us why we're keeping it and, what's to be gained from retaining it in the borough?
Yeah. So the golf course was developed back in 1998, long before I even lived in Highbridge, as a way to keep development, keep us from being overpopulated, keep them from rising taxes even more. So a golf course which is owned, it's a municipal golf course, and it was voted in New Jersey the most beautiful municipal golf course again this year, which it is. We are very successful. We get a lot of rounds, we get a lot of customers there, which is not so for the rest of the country. Every other day in the United States, a golf course goes out of business. But we've been successful with our golf course. We've kept the rounds up. We've put programs in place to bring more golfers in. We've offered a lot of programs. And the golf course is one area. It's taken some time, but we're now able to get some private developers at the golf course to possibly build a day spa or a restaurant or a catering hall. We can have weddings and proms up there. It's one thing that we don't have. People come and golf at our golf course, and then they'll go and eat someplace else or not have their wedding at our golf course. So I think we can bring even more customers in, and that's something that we're going to put into place next year.
That's awesome. So, another perceived problem area is the water and sewer situation that's been going on. I understand that, we have a dispute going on with the town of Clinton about it. Can you, explain what's going on with this?
Yes. So the Highbridge, along with Clinton Township and Union Township and Voorhees High School and the state parks, use the town of Clinton, their sewer facility. So they have a sewer plant that was built in the late 60s. It's an older sewer plant. That's where all of our waste goes to. And we pay the town of Clinton to use that sewer plant. And a few years ago, the town of Clinton wanted to make more money off of it to help in other areas in their town, which isn't right. The Highbridge, as well as the surrounding towns, should not be paying to help finance the budget at the town of Clinton. And we called them out on it. We approached them, and they admitted to it. And we've been mediating with them. We've been working with them not only about what happened in the past, but also moving forward into the future. How do we get a contract with them in place that allows Highbridge to have more say in how we are billed and what monies are spent? I don't think the Highbridge residents, and I'll fight for the Highbridge residents to make sure that we're not abused and taken advantage of, which we have in the past. So I'm happy to say that mediation that had been going on all summer, and we are at a point. We have what's called a term sheets. We've gotten all the things in place that we need, and we'll be getting the signatures on those. So we'll see in the next sewer bill, all the Highbridge residents, your sewer rate will go back down to before those rates increase because of the town of Clinton. So I'm happy that through working with the other towns and boroughs, that we're able to be successful in that area.
So, there's been some criticism regarding the maintenance of our roads, and there's been a lot of work done in the past year, but, what's left to be done in Highbridge? What's next for that?
We are very old and historic town. Our infrastructure, our bridges, our roads, our water utility, what's under the streets, this is very old, needs to be replaced. The roads in Highbridge are all a part of a plan, and you see we've done a lot of, since I've been mayor, we've really fixed a lot of roads since more than ever before, and we've got things like Arch and Jericho and Krieger and Cokesbury and Mine Road, Academy and Prospect, Mill Street. All these roads we've been able to do with the help of both grant funding and us saving. What you don't want to do is drive your taxes up and fix all these roads at once. And I know I go out and talk to residents on these streets all the time, and we maintain them and make sure the potholes and keep them from falling apart, deteriorating anymore. But all those roads are going to be fixed as part of a plan. And I ask for people's patience. I would love to. I wish I had a magic wand or a box full of money. I wish I hit the lottery and fix all the roads at once, but we have to make sure we do it financially. We think about the future and not put us into that tremendous amount of debt. But I can tell the Highbridge residents, all of your roads, we did Hillcrest this year. That was a major road because all of the water infrastructure underneath had to be fixed first. So once Hillcrest is done, then Sunset and Hoffman, and we'll be working also on Highland. Highland will be, that's another road that's in bad shape that needs to be fixed. That will be totally redone. So as we speak with the residents and meet with them and show them the plan, and actually these plans are in place. We have dates when they're going to be done, and then they're going to get done.
Okay, cool. So there's a lot of new business growth in town. I mean, I see it every time I walk down Main Street with my friends when they come back from college. So can you tell us what plans you have for the future about the growth in the town?
It's about redevelopment, revitalization, what we saw with Main Street. When I first became mayor, we had 7 empty storefronts. We had some buildings that were condemned on Main Street. And also, we had arrests every weekend. And we've turned that around. We've turned Highbridge, Main Street into this little vibrant area that people love. They come, and it's great because we're such a small town. People can walk there. And it highlights all the other great things that we have here. So I spend a lot of time, as well as your council and all of our great volunteers that we have here, recruiting, going out and meeting with. There isn't a weekend that doesn't go by that I'm not giving someone a ride around town and showing them the great things and trying to have them start their business here and what would fit, small town community. So I think it's about being, and they appreciate that too. The building owner and developers appreciate that they have a mayor and they have council that they can just reach out to. They have my cell phone number, or I'll meet with them and take them for a tour. And so we have a lot of work done, but there's still a lot to do in the future. The exact level and tool, that's another big area off of West Main Street. There's the old Peking Walk building next to the rescue squad. Actually, from here, there's going to be some demolition done today on that. Mm-hmm. So that area is going to be taken down. We're going to have some new buildings that fit that small, historic, charming town that we are. That's going to increase tax revenue. So those properties, the value of those properties are going to increase tremendously, which allow us to decrease everybody else's taxes, property taxes.
We as a town and you were really challenged by Superstorm Sandy that happened, and being a resident, I can say that I'm really proud of the way that the borough's emergency groups were all, really effective in handling the emergency under your leadership. Can you talk about, your experience and your leadership skills, like how they helped you during that tough time for our town?
Well, thank you. It's very appreciated. I have a lot of training with mass disasters and mass fatalities for the city of New York. I'm actually the New York City's Family Assistance Center manager. So when something really bad happens in the city, it's my job to work with the families, find their loved ones, return them to them. So I think that my 21 years of government experience working in that area, and previous to that, experience working with the military, I think we have a wonderful volunteer corps here. We have some of the best, and I've worked with police departments all over the world, and I've seen some of the top emergency management. New York City has an amazing Office of Emergency Management. So does Highbridge. The volunteers that we have here, we have a CERT team, we have citizens that step up and help each other. And that's one of the things I love so much about Highbridge. We look out for each other and we take care of each other. And that's the kind of town that I want to live in, that has a mayor that does that, has that strong volunteer spirit that we have, and that's what Highbridge is.
That's wonderful. Are there times when you have to represent the borough and interact with, our state senators and representatives and our governors? Like, can you describe those instances and how others perceive our town of Highbridge?
Well, to start off, yes, I work with the governor, met the governor. I'm a part of some of the work he's doing to help with school spending, get Highbridge and Hunterdon County some more dollars to help decrease our property taxes. I have at any given time, there'll be our assembly representatives, our state senator, our congressman Lance will be in Highbridge. They want to see what's going on. Just this weekend, I was with our freeholder, Matt Holt, to look at some of the bridges in Highbridge and some of the work that the county is going to do with us. So I'm very hands-on when it comes to, and I have all their cell phones on speed dial on my phone, and I talk with them daily. Just like I work with our local mayors here on shared services. So being mayor is being able to interact and having those connections. I think that's very important. In some of the past storms that we've had, I've had the opportunity actually to speak with the President of the United States here in Highbridge and our rescue squad, asking us, what we need to help. Again, went back to our volunteer corps and how strong it is here in Highbridge, and I recommended there's some other towns that don't have that. You may want to help them out, Mr. President. So that was pretty amazing here as a local mayor. But some of the things we've put in place, the recognition, and it's a part of that philosophy of getting people involved. So I'll give you an example. A few years ago, we didn't really have a barking dog ordinance, something to have. I don't own a dog, so I thought the best way to create one was to open it up to the town. We had a meeting. We had a town-wide meeting on what should this look like, and I wanted to hear from everyone. And we put this together, and people were kind of scratching their heads at first, like this has never been done before. So we created a local ordinance, a local law based on this, on what would fit us, and it got a lot of success. And our local newspapers covered it, and it was wonderful. For the first time you see a town. And then I started getting calls from all over the United States. As far away as Hawaii, other mayors were calling me and asking me not only about that, but they're hearing other great things about Highbridge, about how we've turned around our finances and how we've increased our bond rating 5 times since I've been mayor. I mean, that's really unheard of. And how are you doing all these successful things? So I took a lot of pride in the work we do here and the teamwork that we have, bringing people together with different specialties and helping out.
Why do you want to run for mayor of Highbridge again? I mean, you've done it for 12 years. What makes you want to continue doing it, and what will make you successful going forward as mayor?
What I've learned since becoming mayor over the last 12 years, and I learned this early on, that to put plans in place to be successful, it takes time. These things don't happen overnight. So to put the pieces in place to be able to secure our financial future, to be able to keep decreasing our taxes, these were things we put in place 10 years ago. So when we look at the properties that need redevelopment here, the Exact Level and Tool on West Main is a perfect example. That was something when I first became mayor, I promised we're going to do something about that property, and we've worked on that every day since then. We've worked with the property owners and the states and the Department of Environmental Protection. We've had the county here, and it takes time, but to secure that financial future, to be able to redevelop that and create something that we love and we're proud of, and it's going to help decrease our taxes, putting those pieces in place, it does take time. I wish I could do it overnight, but you really need to think about what we do today, how that's going to affect the future. And that's not something that was done in the past. We look at how much open space that we have here, and if we were able to think more back then, decades ago, about our financial future, we would have been in better shape. But we're doing things. We've managed to decrease the taxes this year, and that will be just the first step, because as we pick up momentum on this 10-year plan, we're going to see some great things here in Highbridge to come.
This was a really great experience, so thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. November 6th, please get out and vote. Your vote is important. Thank you.